Today, I am talking to Sylvain Azoulay, who is the head of Aveine USA. Their signature, very high-tech aerator is available on our marketplace at coravin.com. Welcome, Sylvain. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Lindsay. Welcome, and I'm doing very well and very excited as well. To participate. To that introduction. On the Coravin marketplace.
Excellent. So tell the audience a little bit of background on Aveine. It's a device that might at first look quite simple, but is obviously very complex.
Yes, Aveine is it's what we call like a smart aerator. Aeration is a very traditional function in the wine experience. Where when you deal with with any kind of wine, but of course people may think that like especially like old vintage, or more maybe medium or expensive, wines, then you need to proceed with some aeration, to allow the wine to express himself, like through exposure with air. So traditionally, like for ages, we used to do that. We used to do carafing, like so meaning like dropping the wine into a carafe, before serving, something that you may have experienced in restaurants, like where it allows the wine, to be exposed to air, to oxygen. Its surface being exposed to oxygen will actually, release all the flavors, the taste of the wine, and what we do with Aveine is actually mimicking, in a very smart way, that experience, carafing and aeration may take some time, like for certain wines, may take like up to an hour and sometimes even many hours. So by using Aveine, we basically decrease that time to an instant time. The technology is like we say smart one, where basically the device allows to really mimic that aeration time that makes the wine, tasting much better.
Wow. That's pretty revolutionary.
It is.
So when creating the Aveine aerator, what came first, the aerator or the technology, or are they kind of built in parallel?
So it was definitely the technology, like Nicolas Naigeon, who is like the founder and who's an engineer, is it's very interesting. He's the son of like winemakers in Burgundy in France. So he had grown up, like in wine, like his entire life, and but he's like as a training, as a trainer, is an engineer. So he thought technology before, like like the aeration first, and it started like very interestingly with the plastic bottle, and some tubes, to see, how pouring, pouring wine, through this, could affect, like the quality of the wine and the quality of the experience.
Sure. How about the Bluetooth component? Was that always intended to be part of it, or did that develop over time?
By essence, knowing that like the aeration, it's something that is absolutely not static. Like being able to and realizing that the perfect calibration, would be like the most important thing to reach like the ideal tasting. Bluetooth had become like very obvious immediately, because that was the only technology during the development, that would ensure, like the complete experience, by allowing like perfect setting and perfect experience for the customer, for the user.
Wow. So what's the process that's actually happening in the device?
So as I mentioned, a carafe is when you use like a traditional aeration, the purpose of the carafe is to expose wine, and expose the surface of the wine
Mm-hmm.
and to an exchange between wine and air. Here the principle with the Aveine device is actually you mimicking this by injecting micro bubbles of air during the pouring onto the surface of the wine.
Mm.
So what you see like as and indeed it's like a very simple looking device is
Mm-hmm.
something really complex inside that requires like a very smart technology with an injectors that actually inject like micro bubbles of air at the surface, yeah, both at the bottom and on the top of the pour, like when it goes through the device. Yeah, so
Wow.
mimicking exactly the exposure to air of the wine, thus allowing like the development of all the taste, the tannins and everything else.
Right. Right. What a great tool if you all of a sudden realize you want to drink a great bottle and you haven't budgeted 3 hours to aerate it and
Exactly,
for that exact
and
purpose, right?
yeah, and even like you have friends stopping by, or you decide at the last minute, to open a very good bottle, to do that kind of celebration, or simply for yourself, like
Mm-hmm.
you want to try a bottle, like that that you never really push, to into the aeration process of like few hours, of
Right.
decantation. All of a sudden you can do that like instantly and not have to wait. Yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
when I first got introduced, to the device, it was amazing. I shared it immediately with some friends, like some wine connoisseurs.
Do you work with the producers to calibrate the aeration times? Because that's a big part of it, is um, it varies depending on the wine, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're totally right. Like it's, even if it's not like a perfect science. Of course, you need to rely on enologists, wine professionals. So
Hmm.
we started like being in touch with a lot of researchers, professionals and enologists, and we of course to provide us with some insights, some recommendation.
Hmm.
But on top of it, like we are planning like in the next few weeks, to open the app and the application to wine producers, that would
Oh,
be
wow.
able to implement basically their own recommendation, because there's probably no one better, than the wine producer, to explain and to decide, what would be the best aeration time. We also have like a big participation of our customers, that
Hmm.
are allowed to make comments, like or adjust the time,
Right.
like we'll set up the device at 4 hours.
Mm.
But then I may find out that I prefer it, like at 3 hours or like 6 hours. And
Right.
then I would be able to implement this in the app. So it's really participative, like, and it's not like something static, where you have to follow exactly. But because you'll be allowed to adjust it yourself, and you can follow the device recommendation, the app recommendation, or you can also make your own recommendation.
Right. That's what I was going to ask is, how do you go about adding the wines to the database, or is that crowdsourced?
Yeah, there's a big part that is like crowdsource, but
Okay.
like we are looking into connect the product in our database to existing product in the ecosystem, like
Hmm.
that there's multiple actors, that are have like put together like extensive databases. So that's something that we like actually exploring, and hopefully, of course, you know um, if we reach like the right the right partner, the right database, it will enrich considerably, the experience for other users.
Right. Do you have any desire to branch out into the into other areas of wine technology?
The idea is like, yeah, because of the smart technology, the connectivity of our device, we actually are thinking, like of expanding our product, to some other existing products, ecosystem like wine cellars, for example, things like this, or conservation devices, that can definitely be linked through our connectivity, to our device and to complete, like the wine experience. Yes, yes. We're not finished, here,
Right.
with the device. Absolutely not.
So, our company mission at Corvin is to change the way the world experiences wine. What is your favorite wine experience or a favorite wine experience?
That's a little bit what I started to say. Like it's amazing, like with uh, you know with wine, how much you can travel, like wines give you like in an instant, like a image and feelings about like where it's produced, where
Hmm.
like how it tastes, like you know it's such a fascinating word, like so like like and actually, having of course discovered Corava a few years ago, which allowed me, like personally, to experience things that I never experienced
Hmm.
before. Having like a cellar, but with some bottles that you're like a little reluctant to open.
Right.
You're with my wife, like and just the two of us, and and say so. What Greg Lambert, did, they said, like really, really and rich, the wine experience. So it's a little bit like this with Aveine, like you have like when something like this comes, it really push your experience, you really push your enjoyment, like
Hmm.
because as I mentioned, like sharing this with friends and all of a sudden playing like kids, like I said, let's try like an hour more, let's try an hour less, like and see, look how different, and then you have multiple glasses, and then
Yeah.
you can spend like countless hours, like trying this. It's not like drinking more, obviously, but it's like
Right.
really experiencing something very different that you wouldn't, not everyone has a carafe at home, and not everyone goes through like this entire,
Right.
ceremonial, like, and here, like all of a sudden, like it's a very easy demonstration, and then like all of a sudden it takes another dimension for everyone. So
Yeah.
that's my experience, my best experience, really.
Excellent. Um, so anything you'd like to plug or exciting product developments coming up or um, anything else in the industry that's exciting you right now?
Yeah, we have some upcoming improvements, that we want to add. One thing that will come probably very soon, and I'm happy to disclose the information, is that the next generation of Aven, will also display, the temperature of your wine,
Oh,
like so
wow.
that will again, enhance the experience,
Mhm.
as this is something that like any event owner will be able to upgrade, at no charge, because that will be like released through a firmware update, like the components are
Mhm.
already allowing this, so we're working on being sure that this will work properly. But like, even if you have an event now, you'll be able to benefit of the improvement, the battery autonomy as well. Actually, you have like a full charge about 8 hours. Maybe we'd like to enhance that kind of thing. And of course, there's always like some design improvement. Look like what you did with Caravan, from the first model
Mhm.
to the latest one. There's always like some design improvements. So we're working on that already. We have like already a couple years in front of us, with new releases.
Mhm.
But like very soon this year, like one of the biggest improvements will be like the temperature sensor, being active, and then
Great.
you'll be able to even like see, like if your white wine is at the correct temperature, or your red wine, like
Right.
it's it will be a very nice addition to your
Excellent.
experience.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Silver. And I
You,
encourage everyone to check out the Aveine product at the coreavin.com marketplace. And we're excited to see what you guys do in the future as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your day, and have a great day.